Welcome back to the GLAC Studio Soil Painting Tutorial. I am Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in class 9 of Dhairya Lakshmi painting. This is one of the 8 forms of Lakshmi avatars that are known for all the positive propensities of life. And Dhairya Lakshmi, this particular Lakshmi, is known for Dhairya. Dhairya refers to courage and valor. She's also known as Veera Lakshmi, that also means the same, courage or valor. And we have been working on this painting for a while now. Layers 1, 2, 3 and 4 are done, and the painting is dry enough for me to kickstart layer 5 right now. In the layer 1, that was just a wash, and then we did the planning and execution on the canvas of our idea using grid lines. Then we had to use colors to kind of plot places and say what things are, which was a flat image. Layer 2 was a flat image, which was called also blocking or filling layer. Layer 3 began that to show the storyline of where is dark versus where is light. Then layer 4 kicked in with a lot of details and depth, and it was intense, isn't it? So we finished layer 4, and now in the layer 5 what we will do is more of nuances and details. So it's a lot of smart work into the details that have to be defined in many ways. And we will work in the same manner, strategically using the colors to build in more reality wherever possible and however possible. So we will do that. Another thing is that when we work on the jewelry, of course we have to work on a lot of detailing, because what we did was just a planning of jewelry in the session that we did on jewelry. But today's session is going to kickstart layer 5 with the face and body nuances. We are going to do the same thing that we did. In a way it is going to be similar, but there's going to be a few things that will be different. One is that you will see me using a little more of linseed oil than the usual. So it's fat over lean, so there's going to be a lot of oil used, but it's not going to be too much that it starts dripping down the lane. So I'll also teach you a technique where you can figure out that you have the right quantity that is fluid, that's going to give a transparent effect, reflecting or complementing what is already there in the canvas, while it doesn't drip down really too much that it spoils the other sections of your canvas. That we will learn today, and we will try to use less and less of titanium white. I think we talked about it also in the layer 4 a bit, that we try to use less and less of titanium white. We do need it definitely to give a different tonality and such, but then we need to be very careful with it, sporadically using that. So we will work on the hair and also the face and body today. That's going to be the plan. Let me take up the colors and the brush, and then we'll kick start. So the colors are going to be yellow ochre, permanent yellow, burnt umber, we have black, that is ivory black, I have vermilion and crimson. I guess I will have the basic needed colors and titanium white, of course, to go with. So I'm going to take these colors and get them going in my palette. Everything as less as possible, don't take too much of it. We know that we are going to use less of it, and we are going to blend in the colors in a way that we'll have a little more of oil needed. So I have all the colors ready, and I'll show you when I'm mixing them. And in terms of the brushes, I'm going to use brush number 1, flat and round. I have both of them, and I have brush number 0, round. I have a 000 with me, and I think I will also use a couple of micro brushes. Maybe you have seen me using the same in the previous sessions. I think this is more than enough for me. In case I need another brush, I will let you know. I think that is fine in terms of the color. So we are going to do the same exercise of mixing a couple of tones, but remember this time it's going to be a little more fluid. So let me mix it for the first time. You can see that, and then you can try. So just look at what is happening here, and then you can follow. Yeah. So I'm taking 0 flat, 1 flat, brush number 1 flat, and I'm looking at the skin tone. Yes, I think last time we did a lot of permanent yellow. Yes. And this time I want to use crimson. Vermilion maybe I will take, but then I think I want to try crimson this time. Looks fair enough. And I want to take it's my usual titanium white. Yes. Okay. I'm getting this. I took a little bit of titanium white to get to this color. I'm adding a bit more of the yellow, permanent yellow, to blend it here. This is really close, I can see. Slight bit of white one more time, and I'll have the lightest of the tonality. Yes, I have it. I have this. For the darker tonality, I think we can rely on the same color combination. Adding this, a little more of this, and sorry, the yellow. Yes, I have the this is slightly more darker, so I'm taking a little bit of burnt umber to have the dark tonality here, adding a bit of crimson here as well. There you go. I think I have the darker tonality also ready. So we have both tonalities, and what we are going to do right now is to create some fluidity, and this is where I'm going to add some more of the linseed oil that I have it in my tin lid, and I'm going to hold this palette vertically. This is my checkpoint. When I add oil here, what happens is that it should make it a little more fluid, but it should not start dripping down. That's my checkpoint. Yeah, so that's the way I check that it isn't getting worse here, that it has to be fluid, it has to be slightly transparent, so it can complement what is already there in the previous layer, but it should not start dripping. Adding some more, mixing it, and I'm checking, is it falling off? No, I guess this is the right consistency for me to proceed with. I'm going to take that, start working on the lighter sections first. We know the rule. So it's going to be a bit of what do you call, it might feel like we are repeating ourselves, we are doing something similar. You know that the game changes swiftly when we start working on the details. So I'll do the same thing using the skin tone, the lighter tonality on the sections of the skin that are catching the light. Also in the palms. We know this is slightly lighter in the sense that it's got more oil, so it's going to blend in and very soon, and it's going to actually it is transparent, so it's going to show what is there in the previous layer as well. So just keep that in mind. Now let's take the darker version, and also we do the same thing in the darker version. I'm taking a little more of oil to see if it blends well, and then it does fall down or not. It doesn't drip, so this is a good one for me to experiment. So I'm just taking this, and I added the blush, so it is already in the crimson zone. That's a very good color here. I'm taking this, using this in other sections. Very quickly going over all those sections, filling them in ever so lightly, yes. Let's do the filling in on the other sections of the hands, arms, finger, wherever, yeah. Getting fit. And this time when we blend, it blends also well because there's more oil than you had usually used, but it doesn't drip also. We have done the check, so it's not going to spoil the game, falling down on the sections that are not necessary to be touched upon with this color tonality. Yes, very managed the essentials now. Looks like yes. Okay, so now we get on to working on the details even further, and this time the detailing will have much more to do with the much more to do with nuances, the final nuances. So let's see what these are. Aren't they supposed to be the same? Or are they similar but not the same? Let's see. We're getting there. I'm just doing the pochi pochi skin tone that is going to be visible in between the hair. Okay. Now I leave this brush alone. I'm going to take a micro brush, and we have tried this before. So this is going to be for the eye and eyebrows and such. I have to pick up a bit of burnt umber, blend this with a little bit of black, so I get a very dark burnt umber that's close to black but it isn't black. And I'm going to have that in my micro brush, so it's not too much. Let's do this game of filling in, starting with the eye. And this time we know where all the really dark mark has to go. And then I do the eyelids line as well, the same color tonality. Leave it there. Gonna so look at the way her eye is and her eye, the shades are. Let's work on the blending around her eye first and the forehead and so, and then come back to building. Now we'll do the and what do you call her? Sorry, eyelashes as well. Yes, we will do the eyelashes as well, but before that we need to blend in the colors that are there. Should we get started with it? So I'm just gonna take a little bit of darker tonality here to blend in here, and start, the depth of the shade and blend in. I think it helps to have a fresh piece of brush to do this. I'm going to use a zero brush to do the blending around. If this works better, let's see. And here I've blended some darker tones. here to give in a highlight in the sections on the tip of the nose and such, but not too much of it. I just wanted to come in and give that glow, but not too much. So I'm blending that in right away. And we haven't worked on the eyebrows and eyelashes yet, so it's just all these are precursors for this work that we are going to do, because we want to make sure that these sections are blended in nicely before we are building the eyebrow and eyelash strongly. Yeah. So yes, here we go with the nostrils. And I need to use a little bit more, so I'm also introducing the skin color here in places where it could be, blending in nicely. Wiping off the excess in my brush sometimes if it is, little too much and it's not helping in blending. You'll have to keep wiping it, keep on building the tonality. Remember, there is a little more oil than usually taken, so it's already going to blend things in really quick. So do not push too hard that it really goes away or starts getting into sections where you shouldn't be having it. By now, because we've been doing all these exercises of adding tonalities and blending them, especially on this skin tone for a while, we would have learned, what happens and how do we make changes and such. So we learn a lot from this exercise. Okay, and I'm going to add a slight bit of darker sections here. Slowly, steadily, you see that the tonalities are sinking in. I'm throwing in slightly darker range using burnt umber boldly here, dropping them a little bit in the sections where I want the shades to be slightly darkened. Let's blend it through. Cool. And I think in the forehead also we could do a little bit more of playing around with the darker tonality and just doing that. When you get it, it is slightly off board. You can also use crimson. Crimson or add it to this color will also darken it. If needed, we could do that also. Just adding a tiny bit of crimson here as well. So it is slightly on the blushy side of this darker tonality and not too much of dark. we need to maintain a balance because her skin tone, of course, is in that zone, but she is still a kid as well. So we need to maintain that blush, mm, the softness and youngness of the skin tone as well. Try to capture that. Yeah. Taking a little bit of the lighter tone and giving a stroke of this highlight here. Yeah. Getting her there, getting her there. So slowly keep on blending, keep on blending. Slightly more darker tones here underneath the nose. You know the zone very well. If you want to use a little bit of black also to do the sharper, highlights of the nostril. So I'm going to take a little bit of this ivory black to throw inside that, zone where the lip is darker, because there's this, there's no light catching inside that zone. Done. We'll work on the lip slightly later. For now, I think I want to just continue the work on the face structure and also the tonalities that are lighter here, catching the light. Good. Yes, we are getting there. Taking a little bit of burnt umber to zone this side and adding that depth in here. The darkness in the ear, I want to capture that, and also the light in the ear, the lighter tonalities that are coming close to that earring and such. Okay. Try your best to show that lightness. Let's take a tad bit of white to lighten this nostril. Guess we are nearly there with this kind of detail, and now I'm going to add to this skin color and go ever so lightly on the lip, and it's going to catch a little bit of crimson also to add. Let's see what happens. So it is framing the lighter tonality of the skin color getting added here together with a bit of crimson that is giving that, you know, kind of lip color enhancement, but it isn't turning it into total pink that it was previously. Now we need to do the same thing with a slightly darker skin color that we mixed for the upper lip. And you might be surprised that it is, you know, because it's transparent, the crimson also shows from underneath, and it's going to give a real lip color tonality here. Yeah. Yes. And with the black here, we have really marked the section quite well. I'm going to take a bit of titanium white to flow through the section where the teeth is. But right now we also have to work a little bit on the detailing of that. So I'm just taking in that white and filling the section in one more time. But what I'm going to do with a micro brush is that I'm going to take a bit of this skin color, the darker one that we have, to run through and make slight dots and put in partitions, like, you know, throwing in the idea that there is partition between the teeth, you know. That's exactly where things are, and the way they are. So I'm beginning to give that idea of some sort of a, you know, slight, you know, change in color due to the coming together of two teeth, you know, two teeth next to each other. So creating that, and I'm adding titanium white one more time. So the kind of, you know, the upper teeth is set. We want the upper teeth is just, you know, the way she is smiling. The teeth in the lower jaw is really underneath the teeth that is, you know, in the upper jaw. So we need to understand how to show that. And I'm just taking in a tiny bit of burnt umber, really tiny bit of burnt umber, to just make that curve of the teeth ever so lightly. So it gives a feeling that there is teeth in front, not in front, but, you know, I guess it is enough to show rather than taking it really too far. I'm going to take a bit more of titanium white here to fill the area. Yes, so there is this smile that one can notice. So it is this darker skin color with a bit of crimson touch for the lip, really. Adding pinches of black in the space where the lips are coming to a close. Let's get started with the I'm going to get started with the eyelashes. So here I'm just throwing in, it's all the burnt umber mixed with the ivory black, and I'm just throwing in tiny little strokes and small little dots for the under eyes eyelash. So I'm doing the same thing on this side as well. Okay. So that's done, and I did need a bit of titanium white to give that light, the glow in her eye. Go here. Oh yeah, there you go. Her smile is sharper now. Her eyes are getting sharper now. Let's fix the eyebrow again, burnt umber and ivory black. And now we know the rule very well. We are going to go really thin, and we are going to do some effect of small little hair and not work on creating a clear line there. So it's really small little hair that is coming out. Yeah. Okay, her eyebrows are now good. We need some more blending on the face, I can see. But before that, I want to work on her hair and then come back to the eyebrows. Her hair needs some more of detailing now. So let's do plait by plait. Okay, so each plait, and we know the rule of the game that it's going to be burnt umber and ivory black. Some places it's only ivory black and such. So I'm going to start with the plait on the upper side of it. I'm just making those curves completely ready because the curves weren't showing clearly from the last work. Everything I'm doing with a micro brush. Be very careful because I want the flats to show up nicely. Mm. Now I'm using also ivory to ivory black. I'm also adding a little bit of burnt umber wherever I need. So I want it to be a combination of these colors. It might look like, you know, it's the same, but when you get a close-up shot, you will see that. Another thing is that when you have a couple of colors like that, you will definitely have a nice contrast um, in your canvas, and you can add a little bit of highlights. The skin tone, the lighter skin tone that we used, do not go for the white. The tendency will be to add white for the highlight. We already created a skin tone that is so light, and we did use titanium white. So let's try to use that. Mhm. Ah, I can see that she is looking pretty. I like her. I like her. So, you know, I started this session, I was a little tired and I was thinking, oh, should I do it? But you know, this is what really gives us energy. When you see the smiling faces, you know, you just forget all the tiredness. I'm working on the plait that is right behind her um, ear, because it's not, you know, clearly visible here, but then so a couple of plaits are done, but it's only the darker tonalities that have been done. So I am going to add a little bit of the, I did mention that we are going to use our lighter skin tone itself as a highlight. So I'm just going to put in a stroke of that here to give that, you know, highlight. Can you see that it's a very minor sort of, you know, spot that I'm giving, and I'm just gonna blend it in, like in the, not blend it in, I want to create strokes with that, so I'm not blending it in fully, so it's like some strokes of hair over there, yeah? And if you think it is too much, then go back adding a little more of this black or, yeah, burnt umber, so soon the colors, you know, would balance itself, looking good. And now let's work on the rest of the hair. I'm going over the central area of her hair, and this is exactly where I want a little more darkness, because we should throw in that shadow of the um, crown that she is wearing as well. So that is slightly darker here on her head. And then let's go on creating some more. I want to create some more of the small little, you know, hair follicles in the, I think we created that when we did the layer 4, but we can use a little more, I think, on the skin color here. So I'm just adding that. So the forehead also comes down a little bit because it looks stronger, it looks slightly bigger. I'm working on that, and now I go for the plaits on the uh, you know, other side here on the left side of the canvas. We're getting there. Once the hair comes in, then you see a little more of a, opportunity to improvise on the face as well. Um, so it goes hand in hand. So you keep um, going down with the, you know, going up and down with your improvisation. Some people prefer to do one thing at a time and then get it fully done and then move on. I prefer, this structure. This, in fact, helps me understand if the improvement that I'm making is, having an overall effect or not. So I really prefer to be able to see the big picture so frequently as possible, as frequently as possible. So I prefer this kind of working style where I am, jumping from one place to another, and that really I am looking at the big picture, understanding of does this go well with this or not. That's what I'm excited about and trying to work out. Yes, I think right now the hair looks good and it helps me see more of where I want to adjust things and blend things around. Uh, I am happy with the eyebrow structure this time, but of course the skin color blending needs to work. And I am wiping off my zero brush and going to go over the blending one more time very nicely, smoothly. Get more of the skin color, so have the colors ready wherever you feel you need to throw them in again, you can do that. Very good. This is okay. I see. I'm gonna take a pinch of burnt umber to play a little more with the lip area. Blending that in with the skin tone there. It's a risky business there. The the upper lip, the crust is a little bit of there is a shine. I just want to take a bit of titanium white, maybe it is strong, I don't know. I'm going to do that. Just give that streak of highlight there. Want to hardly see the white sitting there, but there should be a streak of highlight. So it's a very, very tricky business. I'm just taking it's blending smoothly, which is good, but I don't want it to. Sometimes, I don't want it to blend. Sometimes I just want it to be staying there like a highlight, and it isn't happening. So, yes, I think I managed fine. Okay. No, not done. Play with the crimson, keep it going, keep the shape up, and then take this happened. Okay, I need to take a little more of titanium white to go for this again. I think I should try a contrast of darker shades here. And white to back it up. Yes. I'm still fighting with this section, but I'll get there. Yes. I trust this is. I get the logic of why where to highlight. So I'm just going to use this white around that area of the lid and then blend this into the skin tone there. Okay, that was a fight and I'm happy with this. Sometimes it is like that. Then I want to have again a little bit of white on the front of the lip. Yes, there you go. That section is done. Pulling that white streak up there. Yes, cool. Leaving it there, and then we have the darker strokes right. We have this done. Okay. Blending has to continue here on the cheeks as well. There is this little bit of skin tone coming here, but it's stronger. And then let's bring this over here. This nostrils with the same tonality here. Yes. Guess I have the tonality. Now I'm going to blend them in. Start blending from the center so that you are able to go to that curves nicely. That cheek looks supple now. So what we are trying to do is that, that supple skin tonality, yeah, that you're trying to achieve here. Yes. So it stops looking like art and somewhere, it begins to look like realism. And this is the starting point of realism, and there's no end to it. Like I said, there is hyper realism, and I don't really work on hyper realism. It's not that I have never tried it, but for me, I think this image, the focus of my logic is that I'm driving home the story of diversity, And as long as I'm able to achieve that, then I need to stop with that. Slightly adding in the darker tonalities here. Okay, I need my micro brush for the master stroke of highlights here. That should go down. And they should blend in also quietly. And for that to work well, we need the master stroke of darker tones going underneath the cheek, blending again nicely, so smoothly. We know that very well. And this time we are just being very careful because it's a lot of oil. I'm adding in a little bit of white because I'm unable to see the cutting angles. Oh, I need to, now I know what I need to do here. There is one section which is to be, okay, I'm driving this slightly to the background. What is the background color? Let's add a bit of crimson here to lighten it up so it doesn't, it gets out of the way. That section really did not belong there to the body. It's a very minor section, but it was distracting me, and I can see that same thing also happening here in this cheek. Get that out of the way. All these things are minor details, but they are beginning to show up as possible trouble here. So I'm just getting them out of the way. Yes, that is better. Skin tones for the ear. darker tonalities in the ear that give the shape. Of the ear. Let's do the same thing on the other ear as well. So each and every piece we are, we are looking at the possibilities to improve and possibilities to refine. Yes. The nose isn't really up there. I feel needs a bit of work here. Let's do that. The burnt umber base structure has to go in. That is fine. That darkening is fine. We have mixed it up slightly, cool. Pushing it around nicely to the circles of the nostrils that are in the sides. That is cool. But the center here yes. Really there. Where are we with the okay. So that's all we are doing here with the face. Cool. I guess this is a good highlight. Tip of the nose, I'm adding a bit of titanium white to blend in, but just being careful again on the chin as well. This highlight is good. This is good here. So whatever I have, it's just a tiny bit of white and not too much. Blending that in ever so nicely. Okay, I guess we have done enough to the face and the hand here. Let's move on to the hands. Oh, she looks pretty. Very lightly. All right, so okay, I've just add a little bit of darkness here under the lid to just capture that highlight nicely. Cool. So we have all right. So we do the same thing to the blending of the arms right now. I'm just gonna do a nice blend. No more contouring. We have worked on the contours and they already show up here, so we can use that from the previous layer as a yardstick for us to blend things in ever so nicely, because we have that, light and dark showing like a two different blocks in the hand. Keep using the skin colors to lighten, darken and such. If you really want to darken, take a little bit of that burnt umber to the sides and keep darkening on the sides that need the shade, but ever so lightly, not too much. And that you are covering that contour lining from the previous layer also nicely, that it doesn't show too much. Here, can you see the difference between this and this? It is starting to blend nicely. I'm going to use a bit more of this skin color to hide here and blend it in. I want to bring that to the front, so I'm adding titanium white to that area, and I'm going to it's not too much that I added, just remember it's really a tiny bit that I will blend in here, and soon you see that it changes the outlook of it here. Blending in nicely. Add a bit of crimson if you want that, feel of, catching the light of blush, or, catching that innocence there. That works well. Blend that in so that it doesn't look totally pinky there. That's a good one. Can we go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of the hands? So it's gonna take a while, but slow and steady. Let's get it there. This is an intense session. We are aware of it because we have done such things before as well. But guess what? We are doing the similar thing now for the third time, I guess. It's just that, the nuances have increased now. Otherwise, we know the game very well, yeah? Titanium white, stroke blended in, tiny bit of crimson blended in. The skin tone is ready in the arm here. Moving on to the third arm, blending it in nicely. Look at the contours, whatever we have from our previous layer helps. I'm going to take this away. Yes. Darkening. I'm going to use this burnt umber stroke here and here, but look at the amount that I'm taking. I'm just taking really minute bits and blending that in so that it's no more showing up as a contour. That's a difference. Wipe off the brush if you have too much of color. If you're using the same brush like me, there is a tendency, of course, we will have this color blending and changing, and you look that, oh, once you're done with it, you see that it's slightly different now. So keep wiping it. I'm having a tissue in my hand, other hand, and I'm working on it. The wiping off also, I'm doing it simultaneously. white added, tiny bit of crimson, blushing added. Yes. With the right tonalities and the right, proportion of color mixture and the fluidity, you see that it's all coming in one place, falling into the right section, right place. I need to adjust this a little bit. Cool. Done. And I'm going to work on the other side of the arms, doing the same thing, blending them in nicely. Yes. Using burnt umber right now in these sections where there will be less of light falling. Done with that, I'm going to blend things in now nicely. Remember, we want to get rid of the contoured lining as much as possible. We needed that for help, of course, for a while, and we totally appreciate its presence until this layer. But now we need to, sort of get rid of that, or push it back in a way that it stops showing up like that. The darker shades done. Let's go for the lighter strokes. Taking titanium white, and when I take on these glasses, this glass, whatever I said I take means this. It's just a tip of the brush having a bit of white. Yeah, that's exactly what is going on here. Let's do the contour lining. The white. Taking a bit of crimson to add in the blush only, so you can blend that in here. That's a little more of crimson that I have wiping off. Let's blend in the excess now. It is getting there. We still have slight challenge here. Have a nexus, but it is coming to a nice close here. Okay, I'm going to add, nice, a slightly bit more of white here, because it's gone slightly on the pinky side. I just want to balance it out. Skin color, lighter tonality a little bit to balance it out. Super. I guess this is fine. Let's take a look at her. Yes, she is looking cool. Okay, now I need to sort of create this section where there is a bend in the because of this fold of her arm. There is this darkness here that we want to create. I'm just adding a tiny bit of burnt umber to create that effect here. Blending that in slightly. So you see that that's a fold. It's in the right angle, I guess. Yeah. Cool. Again, we have managed the arms. Now the focus is on the um, hands. Let's do that. 10 more minutes, we'll be done with this. So I'm just doing the highlights of my finger. Ever so lightly, filling in the skin tone first. Yeah. We also have contours that we want to fix and work on. And we need to also build in nails. For this kind of detail, yeah. I guess we are nearly there with the highlights here. In the okay, in this arm. Now it's time for blending them in nicely and also making sure that we have nice highlights. I'm choosing to use titanium white strokes in the sections where I want to throw in a little more of light, and I will keep that to the minimal in sections where I don't need that. So I'm just throwing in this white and blending them in nicely in the section because I want to bring this hand to the front and the bow to the back. This I know that this session could be intense. You could choose to do it in two parts and take it lightly, but the logic is that we try to use the same fluid color ranges in the same go. That's the thing. So take a minor break if you want, a 5-minute break or something, and then come back if you're feeling that it is intense for you to work on. Um, try not to leave it for a couple of days or such, because it will dry and then you'll have to mix another set of colors there, so you know how the thing works. Right now I'm going to use a tiny bit of titanium white to show the nails here in this finger, because I've blended it in and now I'm ready to show that nail area. And I will also do the nail on the thumb, so it's really on the side of the thumb like this, so that's done here. Now I move on to the next hand. This one also needs a highlight here, bringing this to the front, pushing this to the back. The titanium white, if it is a bit too much, it changes the color tonality. I'm also worried about that. So skin color, blend it in with the highlights, whatever you want to show. Add the crimson if you want to show some, kind of blushy, fleshy or nice tonality. Yeah, when you add that, it changes that look there. We know that, we have tried it, but not too much. Everything is always, in a minute bit that we want to do right now. Yeah, so that's the arm, and I want to use titanium white for the nail. I'm not doing too much here. I just want to put in an idea of a nail here in this section, leaving it out like this. Slight highlight, that's it. Here you see only the side of the thumb, the nail of the thumb. I would do that. Leave it alone, that's it. And I wouldn't work on other things. I will just highlight them a bit more. Skin tone, add it to this nicely. I guess I have managed the hands as well here. Some darker tonality here, giving that effect of shadow because of the point that she's holding. The oh yeah. Thankfully no accidents happen here. All right, now I'm moving on to the fingers here on this side. Moving on and adding a tiny bit of blush. It's got the lighter tonalities already, so I'm just not gonna do too much of it. Quickly adding the blush. Now let's add some the contour lines are still visible in some sections. I'm trying to get rid of them in some places, sporadically leaving them also in some places. Let's lighten it a little bit here. Bring this to the front. Cool. This thing, this arm is kind of done now. This one needs a bit more of the angles. Right? Okay, looks tiny, so I'm just adding that shadow there. Cool. Done. And I'm moving on to this. I haven't done the fingernails yet. I will come to that in a short while. Lighter tone here. comes in a little bit for the blush with this cool skin color balance. Nice. Yes, I guess we are yeah, ready to show the fingernails. I'm just using a tiny bit of titanium white on the sides here to show, yeah, the tip of my and then there is another, okay, that is really behind. I'm not going to worry about it. So let's do this here. This one's gonna have fingernails visible. Cool. I guess we have managed to complete today's session. It was an intense session, like I said, take a break and try to complete this in a single sitting if you can, because it's got to look like same person's hands and such. And it happens when you have the same color ranges and such. Then you're able to see more of what you have here. Okay, we are nearing completion. We have a long way to go with the detailing, but still it's just a couple of more hours. So stick in to see Dhairya Lakshmi to the finish. Stay motivated, stay happy, stay healthy, stay curious, and stay blessed. Let's meet in the next session. Bye bye.